happened at the end of the ride is what I want to focus on for a moment. We were standing in line at the end with our bikes, waiting to board a bus that would take us back to our starting place and back to my car. One of the folks from the company who ran this business of renting out the bikes and all this other stuff was walking along the line of people, counting to make sure that everybody could get on the bus. He got to us, and I turned to him. I said, "Hi." He grinned with this big, semi-toothless grin and said, "Howdy, how y'all doing today?" And that's all that I needed. We began a conversation, and I learned all about my new friend, David. David had been working with this company now for 7 years and comes back every summer to do this work, which is simply shepherding all the bikes and riders back on the trailers and buses 7 days a week, about 10 hours a day. I listened to him describe his work, and then I asked David what he liked most about what he did. Why did he return every year for 7 years? With that broad, semi-toothless grin, he looked up and he looked around and he said, "That's an easy answer. There are two things: nature and people." I love being in the outdoors, and you can't find a more beautiful place than right here, he says, among the forests and mountains and rivers. It really is paradise. Then he looks up and down the line of people, and he says, "And that's the other thing. I have met the most wonderful people here. You know, it's hard to be grouchy when you're riding through nature along a path that goes downhill the whole way. I meet people from all over the world and learn so much from them. I think I have the greatest job in the world." Now, David epitomizes a famous maxim found in this week's parasha. Found in Deuteronomy chapter 8, verse 3, the traditional translation is, "Man does not live by bread alone." While it is in popular culture a statement that we don't subsist on material things, there's a larger spiritual element that gives meaning to life. That's what it generally means. And for sure, my friend David would echo this sentiment. However, that's not so. If you look at Torah, we have to read the passage in context. And historically, when we talk about man does not live by bread alone, it ignores the other half of the passage. And the context is that man, or a human, does not live by bread alone. The second half says, "Al kol motza pi Adonai," which translates directly to be by all that is found, or all that is a product of the mouth of God. In other words, it says in full, humans do not live by bread alone, but by all that comes from God, which is a little bit different than that first understanding. What sustains us is all that God creates, and that indeed is what my friend David believes. For David, it is nature